Right now at noon, the new year brings new laws for Oklahomans. We'll take a look.
And it is cool and a bit on the breezy side today. We've also got these clouds to contend with. A look at that forecast coming up.
Plus, starting off the new year on the right foot, how hikers in southeast Kansas spent the first day of the year.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A few new laws are taking effect in Oklahoma this new year. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. Now, some of the laws relate to health care and voting rights. KOAM's Melissa Alexis explains.
With the new year comes some new laws in Oklahoma. Here's how one of these new laws will affect health insurance in Oklahoma. Corinne's law will require that health insurance plans cover fertility services like sperm and egg freezing for people going through cancer treatments. The Ensuring Transparency in Prior Authorizations Act also deals with health insurance. The law requires quick decisions on care, clear guidelines for denials and appeals, easy access to information about prior authorization, and protects ongoing care. The new Out-of-Network Ambulance Service Provider Act will set rules for how much you can be charged for an out-of-network ambulance ride. The payment is based on local government rates or a percentage of Medicare rates. Another law will allow some convicted felons the ability to vote. Some of the circumstances to be eligible include serving the full sentence, parole, or probation. Also, those who had a reduced charge, received a pardon, or commutation. Another new law expands workers' compensation beyond just physical injury for first responders, such as EMT and firefighters. It will now include mental health conditions like PTSD. Another new law in Oklahoma deals with taxes for infrastructure development projects. It makes more projects eligible for these tax credits or breaks, and it increases the amount of money available for infrastructure spending. And for that law, the maximum tax credit for a project is $6 million. I'm Melissa Alexis reporting.
For more information about new laws taking effect in Oklahoma, you can go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Now let's check in with Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
We've got those mostly cloudy skies out there. We talked about the partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies we'd have, and this is what we are seeing in. Camera shaking a bit breezy downtown Pittsburgh. Had a little bit of sunlight a moment ago, but well, get hit and miss sun here and there. But that's not stopping us from getting a little bit warmer today. MoDOT camera 20th and range line also looking quite cloudy as well. Yesterday, not bad, close to normal. So yeah, chilly, but close to where we should be. Started the day at 28, made it up to 41. And as we look at temperatures right now, we're already sitting at 45 in Joplin, 43 in Pittsburgh, and across the area, here's what we've got. Low mid 40s for most of us, a few upper 40s down in our southern counties, but with that wind being factored in, for most of us, it feels like it's in the 30s, so it does feel a little bit colder out there, and it'll get colder late tonight. We'll eventually have partly cloudy skies, and the temperatures slowly dropping back into the mid 30s by 11, but depending on where you are, cold fronts coming through, and eventually all of us making it back into the 20s tonight. And then we've got the weekend situation that we're going to take a look at. We've got that snow potential, the rain potential, maybe even some freezing rain potential. We'll look at all that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, some might say these chilly temperatures are perfect for a hike in southeast Kansas. KOAM photojournalist Ty Parks takes us for a drone's eye view of the first day of the new year out in Crawford State Park.
Just gets people outside first day of the year, lets them come out, enjoy nature, just start the new year off right. And obviously we have a lot of people here who get to see friends we haven't seen for a while and just enjoy the outdoors. So first day hike started in 2012. It's a statewide, every Kansas state park hosts first day hike.
I liked it because you can get exercise and it's like you get to see nature and stuff around you. And it's good to get up, and to me it means like I need to get more exercise this year because last year I didn't do much exercise, so this year I want to get more exercise and better. It's kind of like you get to experience it with your friends, and you know that because they might have fun with it too.
Just, we're busy during the summertime. Just let them know that, it's nice to come out here during the winter, even when it's cold. It's still a beautiful place to be. We have a lot of trails to enjoy. We put a lot of work into them this year, and we hope people see the hard work we put into the place all year round.
One of the most common New Year's resolutions is losing weight. Every Body Fitness in Joplin is starting people on that path for 4 high energy classes during their New Year New Energy event. Now, classes include pound, turn up, kickboxing, and step aerobics.
Whenever I first started, I wanted it more than I wanted other things. I wanted to be fit more than I wanted to stay at home. And I also found a group of girls that were already going, or a couple of girls already going, and I made really good friends with them, and they encouraged me to go.
Now, exercise is only one factor to improving your physical health. A healthy diet is also important. Well, Freeman Health System in Joplin welcomes its first baby of the new year. Aurora Cooper entered the world at 5:08 yesterday morning, weighing 7 pounds 7 ounces. Now we hear her parents, Hannah Rourke and Hayden Cooper of Dunaway, are excited about the arrival of their tiny bundle of joy. Now, babies born in the new year and in the next 14 years will make up a generation beta. Now, the newest generation that experts predict will grow up with artificial intelligence in every aspect of their life. Well, with the Needle and Thread in Granby hosts its monthly Sit and Stitch, with yesterday's gathering mirroring their first one last New Year's Day. Now, the Sit and Stitch is a way for people to get into all kinds of textile art, from crocheting to cross stitch.
I think the sharing of ideas and I overhear conversations where people are teaching each other new things. It really kind of works out better than having classes. I just tell them, come on in to a Sit and Stitch. We have plenty of bossy people that will be happy to share their craft and get people going.
Now, people brought finger foods to the event and helped each other with projects. And coming up, we bring you the latest on the deadly truck ramming attack in New Orleans. And later, we're making beer cheese soup in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Now, we're learning more about some of the victims of yesterday's deadly truck ramming attack in New Orleans. Authorities say 14 people were killed and at least 39 more were injured. Investigators now say the driver, who was killed by police, acted alone, inspired by ISIS. Nicole Valdez reports from New Orleans.
Law enforcement searched the Houston area home Thursday of the driver who intentionally rammed a truck into the crowd in New Orleans on New Year's Day.
We do not assess at this point that anyone else involved in this attack except for Shamsuddin Jabbar.
The FBI has identified the attacker as 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar, a U.S. citizen and Army veteran. Court records show he was divorced 3 times in the past 13 years. The FBI says the killer had an ISIS flag attached to the truck.
He posted several videos to an online platform proclaiming his support for ISIS.
Authorities say at least one suspected improvised explosive device and 2 guns were recovered at the scene.
ARs and bombs and all that, man. But the aftermath was really what got me, like bodies all up and down the street.
Among the victims killed were 28-year-old former Princeton University football star Tiger Besh and Reggie Hunter, a 37-year-old father of 2.
This hurts. This is terrible. And we want as much justice for him as we possibly can get.
New Orleans police say they are ramping up their security protocols after the city temporarily removed protective barriers designed to block traffic.
We're going to harden the targets more by using heavier equipment to block these intersections.
A cruiser had been positioned along Bourbon Street, but the suspect sped around it, veering onto the sidewalk. Nicole Valdez, CBS News, New Orleans.
Well, the Sugar Bowl is set to kick off this afternoon at the city's Superdome after it was postponed because of yesterday's attack. 1 person is dead and 7 others are injured following the explosion of a Tesla Cybertruck at the main entrance to the Las Vegas Trump International Hotel yesterday morning. 2 sources say investigators that they believe the explosion was an intentional act and not an accident. Video shows the vehicle parked next to the hotel's front doors as it explodes into flames. The FBI is investigating whether the explosion is tied to terrorism. Well, still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
How can a cold beer help make us warm and cozy this winter? We'll show you how.
And everybody's talking about the weekend and what we can expect. We'll break down the details and what we know so far when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So today, it's a bit chilly, it's a bit breezy, it's going to be a little colder tomorrow, and then we've got this whole weekend thing that we need to go over, and we're going to get to all of that. First, a quick look outside from downtown Pittsburgh. We got those mostly cloudy skies out there. That's what we said was going to start to happen, and that is what's happening across the region, and that will continue for a while. We'll continue with these partly to mostly cloudy skies through the afternoon and into the evening before eventually we'll start to go partly cloudy overnight. And yes, I know the future track threw up some rain on there. I guarantee you there's not going to be any rain this evening. We will start, though, with partly cloudy skies tomorrow, much colder because the cold front's going to push through tonight, and that is ultimately going to drop our temperatures back into the 20s. So initially, it's going to take some time to get there, but by the time we start tomorrow, it is going to be colder, which, of course, will lead to a colder day. Even though we'll have just a few clouds, we're all only into the mid to upper 30s for most of us by noon, but should eventually, at least majority of us, make the low 40s. Then we get into the weekend. This is where I know everybody's talking. This is what everybody's watching. By Saturday morning, we are cloudy and we are cold. We are in the 20s. So here's what is expected to happen at this point. We're looking at maybe some light freezing rain or freezing drizzle in some locations, and then ultimately we're going to look at more of a rain opportunity here as we go into Saturday evening and into Saturday night. But as you see, we get that kind of a mix between the overnight hours going from Saturday into Sunday, where we've got some freezing rain and some sleet, and we got some rain and maybe even a thunderstorm or two. So here's what we're watching very closely. It's a low pressure system. We talked about it this morning. It's expected, hopefully, and I say this and I'll tell you why, to be right along the Kansas-Oklahoma border and track due east. That will cause temperatures Saturday night into Sunday to actually rise in the southern half of our area overnight, and it could even eventually make the 50s early Sunday morning before the polar air, that Arctic air, settles in back behind it, and we see this start to transition over to some light snow and everything. Better and higher accumulations of just about anything at this point looks to be in the northern third of our viewing area at this time. However, if you look at the future track and look at these arrows, this is now putting that low pressure system a little further south. If it tracks even just as far south as, say, the Tulsa to Bentonville line, it'll have a significant impact on what happens on Sunday. We're talking more of a potential ice event if it tracks south. We're still a few days out. There's going to be a lot of changes, but we want to tell you everything that we're looking at and all the possibilities that we're looking at heading into the weekend. We do have the winter storm watch. That's into parts of southeast Kansas, Coffee and Anderson counties. The main watch itself stretches back across northeastern Kansas from Saturday afternoon through Sunday. Here's a couple of things that we went over this morning. There have already been changes, and we'll talk about each of these. This is one computer's depiction of what it thinks we'll see in terms of snow by Sunday at 6 o'clock. So we're talking maybe 1 to 8 inches on here, okay? This one is seeming to be, at this point, the more likely scenario in terms of snowfall across the area. The same parameters, same time frame, but you can see less snow. Now we're thinking maybe we'll get that inch to 2 inch line as far south as I-44, but at this time we're not looking at a major snow event, but still enough, and it could cause some problems. The next thing that we're worried about is the potential for ice accumulation. Now again, this computer thinks that we're going to get a significant amount, especially into our northern counties out there, which, I mean, anything really over a 1/4 of an inch of ice, that is a significant issue. Even over a 1/10 of an inch of ice can be a significant issue. But the other one, the same one that's going a little less on the snow, is going a little less on the potential ice accumulation in that same time frame as well. Now the system that's going to be bringing all this to us is come on shore now. So we're going to, the computers, the model data, everything's going to have an opportunity to get a much better hold on what exactly is going to transpire. So about 24 hours from now, we're going to have a much clearer picture as to how the weekend is shaping up. Between here and there, again, upper 40s, maybe some low 50s today, and then we'll eventually make the upper 30s, low 40s tomorrow. We have a possible alert day for Sunday because we're keeping a very close eye on this. And by Sunday afternoon, that Arctic air, one way or the other, will roll in and start to drop those temperatures for us. But by next Saturday, if this holds, we're looking at a little relief, but we're going to have some cold, potentially dangerously cold air as we kick off the new work week.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making beer cheese soup in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Well, Howard's making beer cheese soup in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
January is National Soup Month, and I can't think of a better time to dig into a steaming bowl of soup. So that's what we're making today, and it'll go with all our game day favorites. Just wait until you see all the fun ways we can serve it. All we do is heat some milk with a little beer in a soup pot. That can be anything from light beer or a dark stout to non-alcoholic. See, I told you this would be good for game day. Once it's heated through, we add 2 jars of cheese bread. And to give this a boost of flavor, we add some condensed chicken broth, straight from a can, a touch of Worcestershire, and a shake or two of hot sauce. Now, to give this body, we stir in some cornstarch mixed with more beer and let it simmer until it thickens up. Now, as for ways to serve this, how about pouring shots so everyone can get a taste? Or, better yet, serve it in an edible bread bowl topped with bacon and scallions. I hope you'll go online so you can celebrate National Soup Month with our creamy beer cheese soup that'll make you the talk of the table. When the flavor is this good, you can't go wrong. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where every day we're looking for an easier way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, upper 40s, low 50s today. Gusty west winds pushing 25 miles an hour. Colder tomorrow, upper 30s, low 40s. Keeping a very close eye on the storm system this weekend with a possible alert day for Sunday. So definitely make sure that you are weather aware and you're keeping up to date on everything. And of course, then we've got that big Arctic chill right after.
Yes, we certainly do. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, coming up tonight at 5, cases of norovirus are surging in parts of the United States this winter. We're going to have some tips on how to prevent getting it and what to do if you have it. Plus, we'll visit the grand opening of Johnny Copeland's restored Joplin home. And with the cold temperatures making their way to the 4 states, we'll have some advice to help you prepare your pipes from freezing temperatures. You can join us for those stories and more on KOAM News at 5. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. Have a great rest of your day.